So after your dice has come out of the mold, it is all cured and solid and beautiful. The time has come now to put some numbers on it. So the process of putting numbers on is just that, it's a process. So I'm going to be walking through all of that right now, and then we're going to be putting the numbers on these ones. So we're going to be putting the numbers on using paint. I like to use acrylic paint. Matte acrylic tends to work better, just because if you use a kind of shiny acrylic, which you can use, the only problem is that it does leave a bit of a residue afterwards on the dice. Sometimes that leads to a very cool effect, but if you want just clean numbers, then matte acrylic is definitely the way to go. What I like to do with my dice when I'm putting the numbers on is choose a color that makes it pop. So you have the color in the dice themselves, obviously, but if you add, you know, the numbers to it, then that just gives it another opportunity to just make a statement, make some color, make it pretty. For these dice that I'm making today, I'm just going to be using a light blue. It isn't the most exciting color, but it certainly works well with the color that's already in there. It was supposed to be green. Clearly it isn't. So what I'm going to do is just take the top of the bottle. I dab my finger in it, so I have some excess on my finger. I'm just going to go ahead and rub it on the face of the dice. Not too thick, and then just rub away the excess as well. And we can also do that with a tissue, but there's so much excess that I'm going to just try reusing it. Spread it on the other faces. So the good thing about using your finger is that it gets all of the, it gets into all of the little tiny places of the dice while not wasting too much, like you would with a paintbrush, because the paintbrush can sometimes leave a lot of excess around the material. So I like to just use my finger, and that way it also gets a thicker coat on there, whereas with a paintbrush it can be very, very thin, especially within the number itself, and lead to it not being a very solid number, leading to it wiping away once we clean it off later on using either the tissue, like right now, or with an alcohol wipe later on. So you see, it's all nice and pretty there. We are going to give it another round of cleaning, but for right now, we just need to let the paint set. So the paint is dry now. You can tell that just by looking at it. The good thing about matte acrylics, again, is that they aren't shiny when they're dry. So you can tell very, very easily when they're dry and when it's okay to move on. So just looking at it, you can tell that they're dry because they aren't shiny anymore. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and start cleaning them. So I have alcohol prep pads, which is what I use to help clean them off. I like using the large size or the medium, just because it has a greater surface area, and you can get more use out of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take it out of the thing. If you leave it by itself like this, it's going to be too large and it's going to dry out too quickly, so you aren't going to be able to use it. So I just tear it in half and then put the other half that I'm not going to use back into the foil so that it can just stay wet, stay moist while I move on, and then it'll be right there when I'm ready for it. So now I have this and I have my dice, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean it off with little circles. Just be very gentle, because if you scrub too much, the numbers themselves will come off as well, because it is just acrylic paint, and that's all that this wipe is working to remove right now. An important step that I should mention as well, make sure that your hands are clean before moving on to this step. If you have any kind of paint residue or resin or anything, it's going to mess with the finish that you're getting from polishing it off right now. So it'll just get sticky, or it'll get muddled, or, you know, whatever kind of situation's happening. It's just important to make sure that your hands are clean. So I'm just keep cleaning it, making sure, just wipe away any smears that get on there, and then make sure that you get every side as well. You don't want to finish and then realize, oh, I forgot a whole side here, and then have to open a whole nother wipe just for that. So yeah, this dice looks all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it aside and move on to the other ones. Alright, so all of our numbers are now dry. The alcohol wipe has been cleared. as well, so all of that is dry. So the dice are completely finished now. So this is what they ended up looking like. It's difficult, lighting is difficult, but yeah, they look really nice. They turned out very, very well. If you kind of hold it up to the light, you can see, yeah, it turned out very well. So that's the end of this immediate part of the creation of the dice. We do have 2 other parts left, which is going to be cleanup and then common mistakes. So be sure to watch those as well, just to get the full view of dice making. And then, yeah, that's about it for right now.